All right, guys, it's that time of the year. We're gonna start talking my backyard. There is a lot of problems here that we're gonna have to talk about, and we're gonna go through each and every one of them, and it's what we're hopefully gonna be able to tackle this year. First off, we have this deck. It's kind of ratty, and you can kind of see by the way that it's ratty because there's carpet on top of a wood deck. Now, this is a deck that I built with my grandfather back in, I think, when I was in junior high, so like a whole lot of years ago. And I thought that maybe what we could do is we could finish it and just sand it out and put a new coat of paint on it and it would look good, but it is in rough shape. The lattice is falling off the walls, the floorboards are rotted out. It is just not in good shape. So one of the first jobs that we have to do this year is this deck. Now, you see YouTube channel and you think, deck, yeah, this is gonna be a good wood deck. No. I think we're gonna complicate this quite severely because I don't think that I can do anything that is super straightforward. The plan for this deck is nuts, but we're gonna do it. So what I'm gonna do is this deck is gonna get completely removed. Everything that's here, we're gonna kinda match the same kind of size that's here, but with some slight changes. I am not a huge fan of wood decks. We looked into Trex for this. So like, kind of like this table, just a plastic product essentially. They're okay, but we really do like a stone, like a paving stone or other stone deck. So what we did is we rooted around and we found something that is probably gonna be just a little bit nicer, but it takes exponentially more work to put in. So the plan for the deck's coming out. I do like this wall situation here, but I kind of want it to be stone, which is another problem because for a stone wall, you need a foundation for it. I want a 24-inch garden wall right here. I am not happy with what is currently available for retaining wall block or anything like that. What I'm gonna do is I am going to pour a concrete wall 24 inches tall all the way around this to give a nice perimeter. That's complicated here because, as you've seen on my other videos, we get a fair amount of snow and we have frost to about 4 feet. I'm not interested in pouring a 6-foot tall concrete wall and going down 4 feet, completely eradicating this garden. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drill piers in here to support this concrete wall like a grade beam for an addition. So what that's gonna mean is I have about 12 holes to drill here. We'll put some rebar in there. We'll tie it to rebar in this wall. We'll frame in this wall. And then I need to leave about 4-inch airspace underneath the wall so that as the ground frost heaves up and down, it won't crack this wall. Hopefully, that will give me a forever solution to this problem. That will also give me a solution over here because I have about 16 inches that this patio is above ground. So by putting that wall in here and burying it deeper under the grade, what it'll allow me to do is it'll allow me to take this grade and build it up to fill this with gravel because I'll have about 9.5 inches of gravel to fill inside this to bring it up to current grade because we actually like the elevated deck. We don't want to bring it down. The yard slopes this way across the entire yard. So this side is way high, that side is almost at ground level, so this will be perfect in order to give us the best solution possible. Now, finishes wise, what we found is that I really don't like what's available from a concrete perspective. You saw Mom and Dad's patio last year that I did. That stone is incredibly expensive. I'm not really a fan. We have this beautiful Carrara marble stone on the bump out, and we have kind of the white motif that's going on around the bump out, so we wanted to match that. So what I did is I phoned around to some of my suppliers to see what people had. We landed on this. which is flamed granite. This is really nice because this material is completely impervious to everything. It has a flamed finish, so it is a roughened finish. This is 3/4 inch, but we have 1 inch, and this should be something that is a forever tile. So the plan for the deck is that it's going to get the wall put around it. It's going to get filled with gravel up to about this level. The stone is going to go directly over top of the open graded gravel, and that should finish off this deck. Now, it also wouldn't be a DIY YouTube channel without doing one of these. This shed's seen better days. I think it's original, and let's go through some of its problems. Well, as you can see here, the shingles are in fantastic shape. There's many seconds left on the life of them. There's pretty much no aggregate left on these. The top's missing a whole bunch. It's not really waterproof. You can see nails all over it. So this is just absolutely shot. I could really easily re-roof this shed. It wouldn't take me more than, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 hours to get that completely done. But there's another problem with this shed, and that's this shape. It's constructed using essentially trusses that form the wall, roof, and other wall, and I bet the floor. I actually haven't looked at it. So it makes a really easy shed because all they had to do was stack a bunch of trusses together and then tie it together with the shiplap on it. But what it does is makes it absolutely unusable from a shed perspective. Inside, there's not even enough space for a lawnmower, plus our cushions, plus other things, because there's no head height here. So the plan is what we're gonna do is go into the other corner. Now, this is where I'd like to put the shed. So that shed's too small. We are going to build a 8-foot by 12-foot shed. That's about the maximum that we can do here without a permit, probably on skids. We're gonna do some fanciness with it because I never do anything straightforward. Probably what we should do is just look at the inspiration photo. So we're looking at doing a pseudo timber frame, then Japanese garden style shed. And then what we'll be able to do is build this shed, rip down that shed. Now, you see this bush. That's right where I want my shed. So we're probably going to remove this bush completely to where the shed's gonna end right about here. The shed we're looking at is gonna extend probably from here to here, and then it's gonna come out from here. The majority of the bush is on the property line. This bush got planted quite far into our property line. That then cascades into the next problem on this. I want to put a fence in this. The plan is, if I can do it, pound frost fences essentially through the roots of the bush, split the bush, and then run frost fencing down and let the bush relax back onto the fencing. But that's gonna require me to do just a ton of work inside a bush, which I'm not excited for. But remember where I wanted my shed? Back here? Well, if I'm gonna put my shed back here, this fence needs to be in before the shed gets back here. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to be in a bush and behind a shed, and it's just going to be an absolute nightmare. And if I'm doing a fence over there, I probably should do a fence over here, right? And here? What about over here? Now, I'm not really all that concerned with the fence over here. It's gonna be straightforward. We have some good ideas for that fence that I'll kind of talk about at a future date because it's kind of getting out of hand like all my projects. But where there is a problem is the fence over here. At first blush, this looks like an easy fence. There's no bush. There's one rose bush, but that's not that big a deal. There's actually a clean shot through the spruce trees that I can get posts through, which is a miracle. But there is a big problem, and it's not a quick problem, and it's what you can see just on the top here. And that's this here. This is a big problem. Now, the worst of it is up front here, where it has sloughed over that far. Because I put in these paving stones and they were tight right here and now they're not. So we're about 17 centimeters, I don't know, like 8 inches for you American folks, over to here. Back in the day, those two walls lined up. So we got lots of work to do here. We have a retaining wall that really needs to go in right here. We have a fence that needs to go in here. We have a fence that needs to go in the back. And we have a deck that needs to go in here. So I think I have a busy summer ahead of me. If you guys are excited about any of those projects, hit the subscribe button and you can follow along. I think what I'm gonna do is, instead of doing this project by project, I think I'm gonna do it more of a vlog style. Follow along as I do all of these projects. I don't think I'm gonna do all of one, then all of another, but we'll see how that goes.